My name is Harriet Roffe, and I'm going to talk about the
Does she need
modern.
a microphone maybe?
I'm going to talk about how the Syrian Jews came to America. When the Syrian Jews started to come, they moved to the east side. A few of them, a handful, they came at the turn of the century. Then they moved to Brooklyn. And they had someone go to Ellis Island. Whenever the Syrian Jews would come from Ellis Island, they stood there and they said, well, the Syrian Jews live here in Brooklyn, and they all moved to Brooklyn. They came directly from Ellis Island to Brooklyn to live together. And the first thing the Syrian Jews had was very important to them, their prayers. The men had to have a place to pray. So they used to pray at someone's house until they rented a little room on the corner. I lived on 66th Street. The corner there was a shul. They rented a room there, and they prayed there morning, night, they holidays. Then, a short while later, they built their own synagogue on 67th Street, I think it was, yeah. 67th Street, across the street from the shul. And they built a beautiful synagogue, and they rented a building next door for a Talmud Torah. These things were very important to them. Their prayers and their religion meant very much to them. So they did that. Then we had stores in the neighborhood. A lot of them were owned by the Syrian Jewish people. There was a Zolta, a barber shop. It was very unusual. He always had birds chirping in the barber shop, and everyone used to go. Then we had our own grocery store too. Salem, no, not Salem. Abraham Salem. Yeah, they did their shopping there, and every house on my block, where I lived on 66th Street, every house was owned by the Sephardic Jews. And we had trouble relating to the Ashkenazi Jews, because the Ashkenazi Jews were educated at the time, and the Syrian Jews were not so into education. The important thing for them was to go into business, to get ahead and go in business. It was quite difficult, but we managed. And even as they went into business, they used to talk Syrian. At first, we used to walk in the street talking Syrian to each other. It took a while to communicate with the Ashkenaz Jews. Well, the Ashkenaz Jews felt they were superior, and they were superior because they were educated. They were educated people, so they looked down on us, suppose I'd put it that way. But eventually we worked our way around, and we're fine together. Bensonhurst too. When we pass on the street, and we'd recognize someone who looked Syrian, we'd say hello to them. We said hello to everyone at the time.